The Handbook of Established Righteousness. The Men of Service. Enoch established a ministerial leadership known as the divisions of Elder. Elder is where Jesus' father, Anokasi, lives. What he thinks, wants, wishes, worries about, his longing or hopes are all a part of that which righteous ministers are to lay hold of, so they can use their strengths, talents, knowledge, and wisdom to address all that about God in the lives of people and in the lives of the Urkadeshi. So ministerial orders of service are divided among those who serve, so that their particular skill for feeling and knowing aspects of Anokasi's will are addressed to enable God to lead at every level. Here is a quote from the Book of Remembrance of Enoch, chapter 11, verse 26 through 35, that describes the men's order of service. Since we received this information, the Lord added new information on the role of women. In the Book of Remembrance of Melchizedek, chapter 12, at the establishment of Shabuah by Melchizedek and Zedekiah, the Lord came and defined the first time the holy order for both men of Melchizedek and women of Zedekiah. Shabuah added important resources of protection to the people. The Book of Remembrance of Enoch, chapter 11, verse 26. And these are the divisions of the authority of Elder, whom Anokasi calls the men of his right hand, or the men of Ishad. Verse 27. One he calls Kaiser, and they have the ability to know the desires of Anokasi for his people in the villages and settlements and encampments of the people of the Lord, and in their sweet fellowship together in community. And they are like shepherds over the people, or that is to say, village pastors. Verse 28. And another Anokasi calls Sekel, and they are the ones who have skill at knowing the desires of Anokasi for his people in their needs for understanding and wisdom, and in their ability to love one another, and in their love for repentance. Verse 29. And yet another Anokasi calls Lave, because they can know the feelings of his heart for his people in their needs for healing, maturity, and growth, and in perfection of virtue. Verse 30. And another Anokasi calls Selaka, and he calls them this because they can know the desires of Anokasi for the prosperity and effectiveness of Yod, addressing the consequences of agency with the power of a sure knowledge of forgiveness in the midst of Ma'in. Verse 31. And lastly, there are others of the men of Eshad, whom he calls Abarah, and these are the principal men of service, and he calls them Abarah because they can cross over in their spirits into Eden, and they can know the desires of Anokasi for his people and for creation, and they can thus know of his desires for both man and the Urkadeshi, in their needs for understanding and wisdom, and in their ability to love one another, and Motsa the Lamb, in his marvelous ability to bring an understanding and an awareness of sin, and the joys of repentance and forgiveness. Verse 32. And these can draw a sure response from the Urkadeshi to change the course of the earth. And when the men of Abarah in Eshyad are present among the people of the Lord, then they all begin to express the nature of that authority to bring man and the Urkadeshi together, and they have become known as high priest communities. Verse 33. And when these various divisions are established and magnified by the use of the element of righteousness, then it is incumbent upon each one of these men to act to magnify their unique ability to know and act upon those specific desires of Anokasi, and to not vary away from that which has been affirmed and magnified to them by the use of the element of righteousness in their calling. Verse 34. And because of the use of the element of righteousness to establish these things, the living souls in creation, who are the Urkadeshi in the midst of Elda, and the abiding angels in the fourth station, have been charged by their Creator to acknowledge their commitment by responding with support of blessings and healings and protection, and in the purifications of the people of Yod in Ma'in. Verse 35. And all things can be accomplished for good because of this. And great and marvelous things were done in the days of Enoch because of the response of the Urkadeshi to the men of Ishyad, and the desires of Enochseed began to take form in the lives of men to be revealed upon the earth by the authority of the divisions of Elda. And great was the joy in creation, and great was the dread of all the wicked among the sons of heaven. Now, here is some information concerning how a person is called to service. A calling to service originates with a personal encounter with God. It is a personal revelation and must be taken very seriously by every individual who would enter ministerial service. It is of such an important nature that a person must be absolutely certain in their relationship with God that they are satisfied with the genuineness of the call. During hard times and severe opposition, the person must know and have confidence in their own relationship with God and be able to anchor in their personal experience in the event or encounter when they receive their call. With daily acts of repentance and obedience to the Spirit, each can find the primary holy forces that magnify their authority for specific needs of ministry to be successful in any given moment. In the religion of Shabuah, ordination means that we, in common consent, agree that a specific individual shall be recognized and affirmed to be viewed by the community as being in the order of service to which God has called them. Men and women are in this way ordained or designated to the members of the community to be a resource for them in times of need. The orders of service we have are the same ones written of in the book of remembrance of Enoch, cited above. We ordain them after the council affirms their calling. We do not ordain men of Abarah or their wives, but rather we have a service of recognition that God has already ordained or designated them since the foundation of the world. The process a man must go through to be able to function in the ministry and community is as follows. 1. Each man must have an encounter with God, a revelatory event, to receive his calling in ministry. That can be a single event or preferably a series of events. Number 2, that man, when the Spirit directs, must share the experience of such encounters with the council of the community. The council will not ask God if the man is called. That is only between the man and God. Each member will diligently ask God if he wants them to recognize that man in the order they are saying they have been called to service in the community. All decisions by the council must be unanimous. Number 3, if the man is a man of Abarah, then a worship of recognition will be done for him after he does his 40 days in fasting and prayer and goes through the required process. The instructions for this process follows in the next section. This concludes the men of service in section 1 of the Handbook of Established Righteousness. Thank you for listening. Shalom.